There was a recent Reddit post detailing the contents of a UK magazine known as Edge, which featured Destiny 2 as the cover story. Reddit user Kapowaz apparently got his issue of the magazine early and posted bullet points of the keynotes from the article. Of course, this is old news, at least in the world of Destiny, albeit only 2 days. That's not the point of this video. While many points were made in the Reddit thread, the phrase that everyone seemed to gravitate towards was there are over 80 missions and activities, and each is substantial in length, challenge, story, and reward. This sparked my interest. I wanted to not only clarify this statement, but also compare this to Destiny 1. I've seen many people talk about the over 80 portion of that line, and then they say missions. Many people seem to ignore the and PvE activities portion. One thing I want everyone to know is that this doesn't mean there will be over 80 missions in Destiny 2, but instead there will be over 80 missions, strikes, and raids. While most of you that watch me are fully aware of this, you may not have looked and compared this to Destiny 1. The idea of over 80 missions and PvE activities, while not 80 missions and then additional PvE activities, it's still a substantial increase compared to what we have now. One thing we have to realize is that all of Destiny 1's expansions, DLCs, and patches have kind of molded together and have become one entity. But in reality, we have Destiny The Dark Below, Destiny House of Wolves, Destiny The Taken King, Destiny Rise of Iron, and Destiny Age of Triumph. These 6 combined create the game that we experience on a daily basis. And while among outsiders, and of course loyal fans, it's still debatable as to whether Destiny 1 as we currently know it has a lot of content, the amount of content it has as a whole is what I'll be using as a comparison to Edge Magazine's claim of over 80 missions and PvE activities. In Destiny 1, we have, as far as I could find, is a total of 77 separate strikes, missions, and raids. We have 16 to 18 strikes, depending on whether you consider Sepix Perfected and the Devil's Lair to be a different strike, as well as whether you include the PlayStation exclusive The Echo Chamber. We have 4 or 5 raids, depending on whether or not you consider Skolas's Revenge to be a raid, and after that, that leaves 54 total missions. A total of 77 missions and PvE activities. Now, if we compare this to Edge Magazine's claims, this means we're getting a total of 3 new things, right? Wrong, but we all know that people that have gotten pretty mad about Destiny 2, that's all they're going to hear. They're going to hear that Destiny 2 only has a total of 3 more things than Destiny 1, and that's fine. Those people don't need to play the game. One thing the rest of us will realize is that Destiny 2, in its vanilla launch form, will have more missions and PvE activities than Destiny, The Dark Below, The House of Wolves, The Taken King, Rise of Iron, and Age of Triumph combined. At least if we can believe what Edge is telling us. Well, let's take this one step further and compare this to Destiny at launch. Destiny at its launch was, as we all know, a bit lackluster. It contained 19 missions, 6 strikes, and 1 raid, totaling 26 missions and PvE activities. And if we remove the PS4 exclusive strike, the Dust Palace, that number drops to 25. Sure, The Dark Below added a couple strikes and missions. The House of Wolves added a couple strikes and missions. The Taken King, as many people place it out there, was the fixer of Destiny. Had quite a few additions. Rise of Iron added a couple more strikes, raids, and missions. But if you really look back, game with 25 missions, strikes, and raids is the game we fell in love with. And Destiny 2 is potentially going to drop with over 3 times that. Sure, there isn't 80 missions that will total something like 30 hours of gameplay, but there's still 80 missions and activities, which is still 3 more than all of Destiny 1 and its expansions combined, and 3 times what we got at Destiny's original launch. Many people are concerned that Destiny 2 will lack in content, will lack in things to do, and if you're one of those people, here's a suggestion. Either delete a character or make another account and see if you can finish everything Destiny currently has to offer before Destiny 2 launches. And if you accomplish said feat, tell me how long it took. And then I'll tell you to do it twice more on 2 more characters, because that's what's available in Destiny as we know it. And if you take all that time spent and then compare it to Destiny 2's launch, they use the phrase over 80, which is still more than what you just did if you do accomplish that thing. Or even if you're not going to go out and delete a character or make a new account and actually attempt that, just know that the thought of that, how long would that take you? Thinking about that, how long would that take you? That's how much we're going to get in Destiny 2's launch, according to Edge Magazine. Now again, that may not be the case, it may be stretching it, but it's still something to think about. While the fact that there's over 80 missions and PvE activities was newsworthy and was worthy of a video in itself, because of the amount of information that I just portrayed, I could have just portrayed it as just the 80 missions, but I wanted to make sure that you guys looked at that and got, oh my god, 80 missions, and compared it to what we have in Destiny right now and what we had at Destiny's launch. Now, I want to clarify, all the links I used to gather this information can be found in the description. And with perfect YouTuber segue skills, I'll also mention all the other links in the description, the links to my Twitter, my Twitch, my second channel, and of course the Multilux Discord. Guys, leave a like if you found this video interesting, subscribe if you haven't already. But with all that said, I'm going to get out of here, say my name is Matt, and I'll see you guys next time.